So Attorney General Barr gave a speech. There's an annual conference. I've never gone to it, but it's called National Religious Broadcasters, NRB. It's quite large and been around a long time, and many religious broadcasters attend. So Attorney General Barr gave a speech there, and I want to play a little clip that he had to say, and then just tell you a few quick things. What he helps you understand, he's actually just using different language. But he, again, does what I'm trying to do in this show so often, is draw a contrast between how leftists in this world think of the role of government and what America is really supposed to be all about. Here's Attorney General Barr.
The passionate political divisions of today's world, and especially here in the United States, result from a conflict between two fundamentally different visions of the individual and the individual's relationship to the state. One vision undergirds the political system we call liberal democracy, which limits government and gives priority to preserving personal liberty. The other vision propels a form of totalitarian democracy, which seeks to submerge the individual in a collectivist agenda. It subverts individual freedom in favor of elite conceptions about what best serves the collective. Although totalitarian democracy is democratic in form, it requires an all-knowing elite to guide the masses toward their determined end. And that elite relies on whipping up mass enthusiasm to preserve its power and to achieve its goals. Totalitarian democracy is almost always secular and materialistic, and its adherents tend to treat politics as a substitute for religion. Their sacred mission is to use the power of the state to remake man and society according to an abstract ideal of perfection. Over the past few decades, those further to the left have increasingly identified themselves as progressives rather than liberals. And some of these progressives have become increasingly militant and totalitarian in their style. While they seek power through the democratic process, their policy agenda has become more aggressively collectivist, socialist, and explicitly revolutionary. The crux of the progressive program is the use of the public purse to provide ever-increasing benefits to the public and thereby build a permanent political constituency of supporters who are also dependent. They want able-bodied citizens to become more dependent, subject to greater control, and increasingly supportive of this dependency. The tacit goal of this project is to convert all of us into 25-year-olds living in the government's basement, focusing our energies on obtaining a larger allowance rather than getting a job and moving out and taking responsibility for ourselves.
Okay, was that the best analogy ever? I love that analogy he's making, but basically, it's a comical way of describing it, so I like that because it's entertaining. But, this whole vision of the 25-year-old living in your parents' basement is what the Democrats are trying to turn. The Bernie Sanders of the world, and pretty much all of them on the left, are trying to turn America into a dependent, a person who can't possibly think independently, whose main mission is to try to get more money out of government, more money in my pocket, more money to me so I can do whatever it is I want to get to do. And I love that analogy. It was a really clever one. I want to urge you, that was just a little segment of his speech, but on our website, americacanwetalk.org, you can go on the homepage under shows, drop down list of links. I linked that whole speech. I really encourage you to listen to the whole speech because he goes into a lot of political philosophy about the difference between, what leftism stands for in the world today, the radical, progressive, totalitarian, tyrannical, socialist, communist left stands for, and what the idea of America is supposed to be. We have to recognize people in this 2020 election cycle. It's not, we don't have a choice between two parties that are still playing in the American ballpark. There are not two parties playing in the American ballpark. Bernie Sanders is the most honest of the left because he admits he's a Democrat socialist. He wants to take control of everything. He wants to force tax. He wants massive tax increases, confiscation of private wealth. He's no different than Castro and Maduro. No different in Venezuela. No different at all. All that he is saying, he's trying to couch in terms of sharing and caring and helping these poor people who have this problem or that problem or big student loan debt. But what he's proposing is nothing different than what Castro or Chavez and then Maduro in Venezuela proposed, which is give him power. He will take all the money away from all the rich people. He will liquidate their wealth. He will take tax money away from everyone. He's finally had to admit even the middle class will pay more in taxes so that he can be in charge of everything. This is flat out un-American. And Bernie Sanders is the honest one on the left when he lays out his policies, when he chooses his label. Because most of the people running on the left, maybe Klobuchar she's dropped out, but maybe she wasn't a radical leftist, but she's close. She's endorsed Biden. But the point of what I'm saying today is what we are facing in America is a growing number of people in this country who've been duped by the left for decades in their college courses, in their high school courses, in the political conversation in this country to think that they are entitled to everything they want for free. And Bernie Sanders is painting himself as the one who will ride down on a white horse and save them all and give them all everything for free. And it only can happen if the government in this country becomes extremely tyrannical. What Bill Barr is pointing out in that speech, it is the choice we face in 2020. It's a choice between perpetuating the kind of free market liberty we have in this country, the abundance, the opportunity for everyone, the prosperity, and the radical, deathly, tyrannical future that always will follow when a country chooses to elect a radical leftist and then lets that person actually have charge of the policies and the purse of the American people.